What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about vouchers. I know we haven't talked about vouchers in a very, very long time, but the recent, I guess, kind of hype around vouchers is that the team is looking into ways in which vouchers can be utilized anywhere that DEC is burned. So we've seen this in the past, especially with promo cards that come out where you can buy, you can buy the promo card for X amount of DEC, or you can get it for half that DEC and half off with vouchers. And so the team is looking at all different areas in which this could be implemented. The obvious one that was put as an example is purchasing energy. So again, let me just be straight with you guys. I like the spirit of it. I like the spirit of trying to find vouchers, this ongoing utility as we move forward. But what I don't like is taking utility from something else, in this case, DEC, to give utility to vouchers. Because at the end of the day, I think personally, even though I get vouchers for, a bunch of things, whether holding SPS or the node licenses, I don't think that we should be taking away any utility from DEC, because DEC's utility is so intricately tied to SPS that we need to burn as much DEC as possible to get SPS to moon as high as possible, bring people into the game, and just, get the game into a much healthier spot. So in that way, I'd actually sacrifice vouchers. I mean, it's not much of a sacrifice. At this point, they're already like less than 3 cents. So I'd rather sacrifice vouchers if that's going to be the case and not move forward with that direction. I know the team is excited about it. People are excited about it. But for me, if we're going to find utility for vouchers, it needs to be independent utility. It cannot be dependent on like wherever DEC is burned, you'll be able to use vouchers. Again, I like it in spirit, but I would rather have, other things put in place. And there's been some fantastic examples given. I'll share two here, right? First of which is your daily focus. If you wanted to reroll that, maybe you get 1 free reroll per day. If you wanted another reroll, well, maybe it costs a voucher. How much would people actually use this? I don't know, but you could kind of scale it up. So if people just want to cycle through all the different focuses, the first one or the second one would be 1 voucher. The third one would be 2 vouchers, and maybe it just goes up kind of exponentially from there. But it would give some ongoing utility for vouchers that is completely independent of everything else and only has something to do with the game. The other part, or the other example that I'll give, and I think I've talked about this in previous videos as well, is I believe all tournaments sponsored by the SPS DAO, which is anything that's put out by the team, all of those payments for tournaments should be done in vouchers. We shouldn't be parting with SPS as the entry fee, especially if there's already an SPS staking requirement. If the goal is to get you to hold, buy, hold, and stake your SPS, as much as possible and for as long as possible, then we shouldn't be incentivized to part with it to join the tournaments. What we should be incentivized to do is take the rewards from that, right? So when you stake your SPS, you get vouchers in return. Take the rewards from that and use those as payments to get in, right? So if you're staking SPS, well, then you're earning vouchers and you can enter the tournaments for quote unquote free, right? Versus somebody else who has to go out on the market and buy the vouchers in order to enter. But those are just 2 examples that are very much like within the focus of the game. They don't take away utility from DEC. I guess you can make the argument that, for tournaments, it would take some utility away from SPS. But at this point, again, I don't know how many people are out there buying a bunch of SPS in order to join the tournaments, but I'll concede that argument. I would still much rather see vouchers there so that people don't have to part with their SPS, so that they don't have to unstake their SPS. They just keep it staked in order to get vouchers. But that's kind of where my head's been at. And I wanted to know how other people felt about this, because what it seems like we've been doing is just shifting utility from one thing to the other and back and forth. Like in just the 2 years that I've been here, we've seen like DEC had its own utility for the SPS airdrop, and then it was given its utility as like the SPS burning mechanism to create more of it. So there just seems to be a shifting around with the tokens here, especially now that we're going to somehow tie DEC and vouchers together in a more formal manner, because it has been done informally, right? With all of the previous sales that have come through. So again, to me, vouchers should be saved. Vouchers, something should be done about it. I just don't know that I necessarily agree with taking that utility away from DEC because of how important it is to the buzzword of 2023, which is the flywheel. So granted, maybe we get to a point where it doesn't really matter. We're burning DEC like crazy with land, but at this point, we're not there yet. And so, and we haven't proven, right, with any phase of land that we can get there. Even land phase 1, sure, we got close to peg, but then we dropped dramatically after land phase 1. There was an initial spike in demand, and I think a lot of people thought that 1.5 was right around the corner back in April. Obviously, it wasn't. We're still here waiting for it. So at this point, I would say that any kind of move to take utility away from DEC should be done after land, and only if land is super incredibly successful in getting DEC to stay not just at peg but above peg so much that we're burning a ton of SPS in order to accommodate it. But that's all I have in this video for you guys. Just curious to get your thoughts on vouchers since we haven't really talked about them in a while. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.